This is the book of Malachi, chapter 4, verse 1. For, behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly, shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the name who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is his son who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who ruled well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And citation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai's sake. I'm Brother Samak from the GMS Miami camp. And yes, the reason why I brought out the book of Malachi, chapter 4, verse 1, is that I came across this article today from the LAD Bible, all right, where they're reporting how Russia, also known as Gog, also known as the modern day Medes, according to the scriptures, is set to test a unstoppable doomsday nuclear missile nicknamed Flying Chernobyl. Okay? And we're going to go into some history of what Chernobyl was all about. All right? As World War III fears grow. Well, we're in the beginning stages of World War III, and that's my personal, all right, opinion, according to the articles that I have seen, all right, and reports that I have read, okay. But yeah, hey, World War III is literally at the door in terms of it going nuclear, okay. We're just waiting for that RFID chip to mark it a beast. So this is why I brought out the book of Malachi, chapter 4, verse 1, because, hey, when you read that verse, it's talking about the nuclear destruction, okay? That's what Malachi saw, all right? And Malachi's an Israelite, by the way, all right? So Malachi, an Israelite, was given the spiritual download to write what he saw pertaining to the end times. Okay, so now let's go into Chernobyl, because it's interesting that the Russians nicknamed it the Flying Chernobyl. So let's go into the history of what Chernobyl was all about. Chernobyl, now ask ChatGPT, what was Chernobyl? Chernobyl was the site of the worst nuclear power plant accident in history. On April 26, 1986, so that's 39 years ago, at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant near the town of Pripyat in the former Soviet Union, now Ukraine, and Ukraine is getting their ass spanked by the Russians, all right? This is why if there is a deal that's made, which that deal's not going to last, because these Edomites can never keep treaties, all right? These Edomites always break their treaties, okay? Either way, you know, whether there's a deal or not, Russia has dominion over East Ukraine, all right? They conquered it, they control it, all right? And it's not going back to Ukraine at all. Reactor number 4 exploded during a late night safety test gone wrong. A combination of flawed reactor design, operator mistakes, and lack of proper safety protocols caused a sudden power surge, overheating, and untimely massive steam explosion followed by a fire. Here's the point. Radioactive release. The explosion released enormous amounts of radioactive material, including iodine-131, cesium-137, and strontium-90, into the atmosphere, about 400 times more radiation than Hiroshima bomb. Look at that. Okay? And you have the Russians calling this nuclear missile that they're testing, this new one, the Flying Chernobyl. Okay? So not only you got to worry about the actual impact which comes with the fire, you got to worry about the radiation, all right, that comes with it too. Okay? All right? And it reminds me of that destroying wind. Yeah. That's the scripture. Let's talk about destroying wind. Because that's that destroying wind. That freaking that wind comes with that radiation. Jeremiah chapter 51 verse 1. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon, against them that dwell in the midst of them, that raise up against me a destroying wind. There you go. Okay? So, yeah. Hey, that's that radiation, man, from that wind. So let's go on to what happened in Chernobyl. Evacuations, over 100,000 people were evacuated from Pripyat and surrounding areas. Many never returned. Right, that place is still vacated to this very day. Health impact. Dozens died within weeks from acute radiation sickness, and thousands more have suffered long-term effects like cancer. And that's what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, you know. Inclusion zone. Today, 30-kilometer, 19-mile inclusion zone surrounds the site. It remains largely uninhabited, right, to this very day. Okay? This is why we're going to need spiritual power to clean up the earth, all right? Because with man's modern technology, you can't remove this stuff. This stuff is still permanent. To this very day, all right, that area, okay, is uninhabited to this very day. Okay? Now, this also reminds me of America, Babylon the Great, because America, Babylon the Great will be uninhabited as well. Okay? Amen. I also bring this out. Isaiah chapter 13, verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Right, because the Russians are a warring nation. They live and breathe war. You cannot buy them. You cannot bribe them. Okay? 18 there, and again, this is the will of the Lord. He's putting a heavy spirit on them. All right? Okay? Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Yahweh, all right, coming in the name of his son Yahushai is doing all this. All right? And the son Yahushai, what he calls Jesus, all right, is at the helm of this. All right? He's orchestrating that the Russians, all right, will go nuclear when the time is given. Okay? 18. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces. Talking about the nuclear missiles like, okay, the flying Chernobyl. The flying Chernobyl. Woo! And they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. 19. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. So, this is clearly talking about a future prophecy. All right, because when did ancient Babylon get overthrown as Sodom and Gomorrah? It never happened. All right, this is pertaining to America, Babylon the Great, which is ruled by the Edomites, because this is the same precept for Jeremiah 49 and 18. All right, when it pertains to Esau, Edom. Jeremiah 49 verse 17. Also Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished and shall hiss at the plagues there. All right. This nuclear radiation, all right, destruction. Okay. Flying Chernobyl. Okay. 18. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord, no man shall abide there, neither shall son of man dwell in it. Right. It shall not be inhabited. This is the same precept that's up in Isaiah chapter 13 verse 20. So clearly Babylon and the Edomites are associated with each other. Okay. Plain. Okay. So who rules Babylon the Great? The Edomites. Who are the Edomites of today? The so-called white people. Isaiah chapter 13 verse 20. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. Right. So that's another thing. This proves this is talking about America. Just want to show you some financial news. How much money did the United Arab Emirates invest in America? Here it is. UAE invests in the U.S. Emirate investments in the U.S. currently exceeds $1 trillion. $1 trillion. These investments span various sectors including real estate, renewable energy, technology, aerospace, and energy. Okay? Recent investment commitments. Right, this happened this year. The UAE has recently pledged to invest an additional $1.4 trillion in the U.S. over the next decade. The scriptures are on point. Okay? So the Arabs are the ones pitching tent here, but they're not going to for much longer. They will be, all right. They will not be continue to fund this in America, all right. So there you go. And that goes to show you that whole ICE thing, it ain't really about getting these other nations. It's about getting Jake, the so-called Negroes and Latinos mainly, all right. And you could throw Gad and Reuben in there, all right, that have a darker complexion, all right? Because how come they're not going after the Arabs, all right? Because it's a big conspiracy. America needs the Arabs, all right, for money, okay? Neither shall the shepherds make their fold there, right? So, that's just a lesson within lesson, all right? Just go to show you the scriptures are on point. So, yeah, look. This place is still inhabited to this very day. Okay? Containment. The damaged reactor was initially encased in a concrete sarcophagus, later placed by a massive new safe confinement structure completed in 2016. It is not just a historical disaster, it's also a symbol of nuclear risk, government secrecy, and human error. Right? Okay, so this place is still jacked up to this very day, man. All right, so how much more when these Russians begin to use the flying Chernobyl on America? All right? Like the scriptures say, it'll never be inhabited ever again. Okay? So, so let's go on to 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10, because you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and the Americans are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites. It's high time to wake up out of sleep. Okay? I'll start at 9. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness. Right? The Lord is a man of his word, man. All right? Yahweh Shemel Shai is a man of his word. He's a man that cannot lie. All right? He said this place is going to burn as an oven. All right? He's setting it up. I mean, look at this. This is extraordinary, man. All right? This is on another level. Flying Chernobyl. All right? And when you're reading this, the reason why they're calling it a flying Chernobyl is that the missile there it is. It says Western experts dispute those claims, though, and said that it would add capabilities Moscow doesn't already have. Plus, it said it risks a radiation spewing mishap. Okay? So that's what radiation spewing mishap. So that's what this flying Chernobyl is. It spews out radiation. Okay? Hey, this is why you're supposed to fear the Lord. This is nasty work right here, man. Spewing out, risk of radiation spewing mishap. So the Western experts are like, this missile is going to just spew out radiation while it's flying. That's why the Russians called it a flying Chernobyl. It's a nuclear-powered, nuclear-armed cruise missile, has an almost unlimited range, and can evade U.S. missile defenses. Damn, bro. No wonder the Western experts are talking downplaying it. They're scared. All right? You know you scared, man. You Western elites, all right, starting here in America, you scared of what the Russians have, man. And you saw the power the Russians had, all right, with this whole Ukrainian war, okay? The Russians were dominating that war, and you know it, all right? Those in the know that Russians were dominating the war with their technology, with their drone hits, all right? It was unprecedented. It was another level of warfare, okay? Y'all motherfuckers is playing catch up now. Anyway, this says unlimited range. This reminds me of Second Esdras. Yeah, man, I love talking about this stuff. Brothers in GMS Miami know this is what I like to talk about. The wars, what these nations are doing when it comes to nuclear war. It's just the Wadi Yabashim Al-Shai putting the spirit on me, because I like talking about this stuff. Because this is pertaining to prophecy. You know, this we need this to happen to get the hell up out of here. Okay? We got to get the hell up out of here. All right? The Lord is setting us all up. All right? Or else no flesh shall be saved. Okay? We're just waiting for that chip. And that chip is coming. I think it's 2nd Esdras 16, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. 2nd Esdras 16, verse 13. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begins to be shot into the ends of the world. Right. And again, back to this article. The flying Chernobyl, aka the flying radiation spewing mishap, okay, coined by the Western experts. It's stated that its nuclear armed cruise missile has an almost unlimited range and can evade U.S. missile defenses. Oh, man. Dang. All right, that's why former Joint Chief of Staff, that weirdo, that pansy, General, what's his name, 4-star General, Mark, you know his name, he's irrelevant, all right, but he was the former, you know what, let me get his freaking name, because he said it to Congress openly. Mark, General, former Joint Chief of Staff, General Milley. Yup. Yeah, Mark Milley. Yeah, this pansy. Okay. All right. He said that Russia has the capabilities. This guy. Let me get a better image. This guy right here. All right. Started pushing weirdo shit. All right. DEI weirdo freak shit in the military. This fucking weirdo. But anyway, all right. He said that Russia has the capability to defeat America with its nuclear missiles. All right. Okay. And that's him standing next to the general of the Russian military, Valery Gerasimov. Right. And he knows. That's why he got bags on his eye. He knew the Russians would smack him around, man. All right. And that's why, again, all right, nothing goes down without the Lord saying it, because the Russians could easily smack America back to the Stone Age. All right. But the scriptures talk about the angels holding the winds back. You know what? Let me get that. All right. And this is in Revelation 17. Lessons within lessons. You know, so the elect can be saved. And this is the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right. Nothing goes down. Not Revelation 17. Revelation 7, excuse me. Nothing goes down without the will of the Lord. Okay. Sanctioning it. So Revelation chapter 7, verse 1. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind shall not blow on the earth, nor in the sea, nor on any tree. Right. It's talking about the destruction. Okay. That destroying wind. Okay. That what, like the flying Chernobyl. 2. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. Right. It's talking about the elect, okay, of the nation of Israel, starting with the 144,000, right? Because this is all pertaining to Israel. Look, the 444,000, okay? And when you go to this word sealed, lessons within lessons, Uh, Sarfrag Idzo. How does Esau pronounce it?
Strong's G 4972. Sfragidzo.
Fragidzo.
Sfragidzo.
Fragidzo. That's Greek way of saying what? Set a seal upon, a mark with the seal, to seal. Mm-hmm. To set a mark upon by the impress of a seal or a stamp, in order to prove, confirm, attest the thing, right? And the Lord, and this is the elect, because they were proved, they will confirm. Okay, there you go. Mm-hmm. There you go. To set a seal upon, mark with a seal, to seal, right? That's what is it? Ezekiel 9:4. Okay, that mark of exemption. Okay, the Hebrew word. Let me go into that scripture because I don't want to jack it up. I gotta want to go back into this word. Ezekiel chapter 9 verse 4. And the Lord said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Right. If you're not in that spirit of sighing, crime, okay, having a grumpy spirit on you, all right, and more than likely you're not part of the elect, because you're supposed to be irritated with this place. Do you see what's going on, okay, in this world, especially here in Babylon? You're supposed to be sighing and crying and be sick of this place, man. You're supposed to be wanting the Lord to judge this place, light this place up with fire. All right, the Hebrew word from this mark is thawa, thawa. All right, got it right here. Okay. Thawa. This is a tha. Okay. And this is a wa. And it means what? Mark, a sign of exemption from judgment. Okay. And that's why you're supposed to be taking heed to the words of the Lord, to the prophecies. All right. Okay, that's why if you don't have the vision, you're gonna perish. Let me get that. All right. What is it? The vision. Because the vision is the prophecies. All right. Yep. Proverbs chapter 29 verse 18. Where there is no vision, the people perish. See, and when you go into the word vision, the Hebrew word is cha zawan. Cha zawan. Right? Make sure I'm saying this properly. This is a cha. This is a za. This is a wa. This is a na. Chazawan, which means what? Vision, oracle, prophecy. Vision. That's titled book of prophecy, right? But he that keepeth the law, happy is he, right? And the word law is tawara, all right? Tawara. And when you go into the word law, that's where you get the word Torah, but the Hebrew word is tawara. It's law, direction, instruction. So that's why you need to be under the instruction and direction and obedience under Yahweh Shai, okay? Because through Yahweh Shai, okay, you have the testimony. The testimony of Yahweh Shai is prophecy, okay? So let's go back. So back to the seal, okay? Now let's go to the word foreheads. Metapon. Okay, let's go to the root word. Amid. Not the. Right, metapon. Yeah, this is the word, metapon. Space between the eyes, the forehead. Okay? And that's, again, it's spiritual. Okay? Let's talk about those that are seeking the Lord, all right, in truth and sincerity, okay? They have the truth on their mind, all right? And they were provided the mark of exemption because of it, okay? Um, the wisdom and understanding of the scriptures from the name, all right, the correct doctrine. And with the correct doctrine comes, you got to have the right name. So, that's, I'm going to just finish this off right here, and that's it, man. Lesson within lessons, like the apostle always say. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long-suffering to us. We're not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. Right. This is why, again, the nuclear war hasn't happened. All right. Is because the Lord wants his people to repent. But we're getting down to the wire because a lot of things are happening, which means that the elect is being sealed. Okay? 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works therein shall be burnt up. Right, again, the flying Chernobyl. All right? Is what's going to cause this place to be burnt up. Okay? Along with that, and will cause that destroying wind, that radiation. Okay? 11. Seeing that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? Right? Meaning your character, your behavior. Okay? Are you still going to be in the world? Or you could still be 1 foot in the world, 1 foot into this truth? Okay? Are you still going to be doing ninja things? All right, behind closed doors, but in front of the brethren, you're acting like you the top Israelite. You're the Israelite. Okay? What's it called? You're cosplaying being a Hebrew Israelite. How about that? All right? Because those that have their foot in the world, or those that are, okay, playing games with this word, you're the real cosplayers, okay, of perpetrating, acting as you're an Israelite, but really you're just being a ninja, all right? Because you're not being sincere. Yes, you're an Israelite by blood, but when it comes to this truth, all right, you're not being an Israelite, okay? Play on those words, okay? You're being a wicked Jake who just knew he found out he was an Israelite and then used it for his own personal gain, for whatever it is. All right, because a lot of times it ain't money. It's about status. It's about being glorified by other men. It's about I'm going to one up the next person because I memorized a few scriptures or a few chapters. Okay, and I've noticed too, a lot of people that fall out, or a lot of people that are bugged out, are those that are supposed to be top Bible teachers. Okay, because again, pride puffeth up. All right, and that's why you got to live this thing. Okay, you got to be humble. All right, you do not want pride to seep into your mind. All right, because then it'd be acted like you were cosplaying Israelite. All right, you're just cosplaying. You really didn't take this truth seriously. That's what this whole thing about holy conversation and godliness is all about. 12. Looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of the Most High, wherein the heavens, being on fire, shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Again, what can do that? Nuclear missiles, flying Chernobyl. 13. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and new earth, wherein dwells righteousness. Right, meaning refreshing. New, you go into that Greek word new means kainos, which means to refresh, because the earth abideth forever. Okay, read Ecclesiastes chapter 1. Okay, all right, this is talking about a refreshing, a new rulership, a new kingdom. All right, that's going to be dwelling righteousness because the Israelites will be ruling it, starting with the elect, the 144,000. Well, starting with the big brother Yahushai, all right, and then the selected 144,000. Okay, 1/3 and on down, because eventually all Israel shall be saved. So, Lord willing, is us edifying lesson within lessons. Hey, if they talking, hey, They talking about it. Russia set to test unstoppable doomsday nuclear missile nicknamed Flying Chernobyl. All right? Because when that thing flies, all right, radiation spews out of it, as what the Western experts are stating. Radiation spewing mishap. Dang, that's wild. All right. So, hey, it's going down. So, and this is why you have to fear the Lord. All right. And take this truth seriously. This is not a game. It never was a game. And with that, I want to give all praise and all glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who grew well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers of the nation of Israel on earth today. And salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai's sake. Love you, brothers. Keep it in the word, keep the faith, keep pushing, keep fighting, keep studying, pray without ceasing, pray for each other, pray for the apostle elders. We're almost out of here. So the fuses that are watching, keep studying. When you pray, cover, shalom.